Welcome back to This Is a Commander channel, where this is a Commander channel, and today I'm going to be talking about Commander tough rules and cool interactions, episode 167. Today's episode is going to take a look at one of the newly spoiled Final Fantasy cards. Yep, Aether Drift has not even been out for a full week, and we are already in a new spoiler season. Anyhow, Tidus, Yuna's Guardian, is the new card, and he has a triggered ability that says, at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may move a counter from target creature you control onto a second target creature you control. And I realize that I've never actually covered what it means to just move counters around, so let's clear that up. The most obvious question here is this: do cards like Doubling Season, Vorinclex Monstrous Raider, Pure Imaginative Rascal, and the many other counter doublers and counter increasers see, with air quotes, or care about counters being moved? We have seen in the past that Magic is very specific and that words matter a lot. Speaking of Doubling Season, it's like how it doesn't cause Planeswalkers to receive twice as many loyalty counters when you use their uptick abilities, but Vorinclex does. Or similarly, how when you play your second land for turn after casting Explore, that does trigger an opponent's Burgeoning, however the land that you get from Growth Spiral does not trigger their Burgeoning. So when we look at all these counter doublers and increasers, we can see that they always use the word put, which means the question becomes, in Magic, what does it mean to actually put a counter onto something? Does it have to specifically use the word put for these increasers to care about it? When Tidus moves a +1/+1 counter or a shield counter, or maybe you've animated two Planeswalkers into creatures and you're moving loyalty counters around, does moving actually put? We can see on a lot of cards that do actually do these whole counter things that they do specifically say the word put. Like to put a burden counter on the One Ring, or how the Great Hinge puts a +1/+1 counter onto a creature whenever they enter the battlefield. Let's take a look at some other examples though. Tidus himself has another ability on him that involves proliferating. So let's check the comprehensive rules for what exactly proliferating is, and we can see in CR 701.27a that to proliferate means to choose any number of permanents and or players that have a counter, then give each one an additional counter of each kind that permanent or player already has. So now we have move, put, and give. But let's go deeper. Colonian Hydra is a card that says, whenever this creature attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. So it doesn't say move, put, or give, but it says to double. So does to double fit in to this kind of stuff? And you know, while we're talking about Colonian Hydra, he also has an ability that says this creature enters with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. If it just enters with counters, is that putting? We now have put, give, double, enters with, and of course, the move, one that spurred this whole video. All different words in a game that is super specific about its wording, and yep, those are all forms of putting. Let's finally take a look at the actual comprehensive rules for move, and it is in section 122.5 and says that if an effect says to move a counter, it means to remove that counter from the object that it's currently on and to put it onto a second object. If either of these actions isn't possible, it's not possible to move a counter, and no counter is removed from or put onto anything. Now there is a little bit more to that CR, but not crucial to this video, but it's more of just clarifying of what that last part that I did include, which is just nice to know. Similar to how when you try to exchange things in Magic, if for some reason you can't exchange when the effect tries to resolve, then nothing is exchanged and nothing changes at all. So if you use Tidus to try and move an indestructible counter from one creature to another, and then the one that is to receive that counter is destroyed in response, then you do not still lose that counter. You're not actually removing it from that one yet to put it onto the new creature. So nothing is actually really lost from that movement. It just doesn't happen. I'll be keeping an eye out for more of these any other wild cards from the upcoming Final Fantasy set, but if there is anything that I hadn't yet covered from Aether Drift, since it's still very fresh, or if there is anything that you guys see releasing from this Final Fantasy stuff, then please do ask away. So far, there have been some interesting things like Saga creatures, which is pretty cool to see that little combination there. So, yeah. Anyhow, that's all I've got for today's episode. As always, I hope that all of you have found this video to be entertaining at least, and I hope that a few of you have even learned something about the crazy rules in this great game of Magic. Have a good one. Ta-ta.